How to get an apartment on rent in Dubai? What are brokerage charges? How much agent fees do you have to pay? What is DEWA? Are there any additional things you should keep in mind? And what is our secret offline tip that got us our first apartment? Welcome all to another video. We got a lot of comments asking us the process of renting an apartment in Dubai. Well, we got one comment. Thank you, subscriber. So let's go through the entire process today. Now, the first thing that you need to understand is the check system in Dubai. In Dubai, you don't pay rent on a monthly basis. You pay it via checks. You typically have a 4-check system. That means the first 3 months you'll pay in one go, and then after that the next quarter, and so on and so forth. If you're lucky, you get a 6-check system as well, where every alternate month you pay. But typically it is a 4-check system. There can be a 1-check system as well. You might get a slight discount on the overall rent when it comes to a 1-check system. So next up, what all areas should you be considering? Well, when we moved here, we wanted to stay close to the metro station. In Dubai, you have this Sheikh Zayed road that connects almost entirety of Dubai and even Abu Dhabi. And we wanted to stay near it so we could use the public transport. The major areas when we shifted, we were looking at Bar Dubai because it was more affordable. Bar Dubai includes your areas like Barjuman and Al Mankul. My wife's office is in Business Bay. I work from home, so we were solving for the wife's office, but we wanted good areas as well. So the other 2 areas that we checked out were Business Bay and JLT, Jumeirah Lake Towers. Now they are good hubs, they have water bodies around them, and are one of the prime areas where you should be shifting, very close to the metro as well. We first year we stayed in Bar Dubai. Now we have shifted to Business Bay. We did check out JLT as well, but it was a little far, hence we did not do that. Now in Bar Dubai, if you're getting a studio apartment, it's around 45 to 55k. If you're getting a 1 BHK, it's around 65 to 75k. If a 2 BHK would be around 80 to 95k. In Business Bay, it is slightly more expensive. A studio would cost you around 60-65. 1 BHK would cost you around 75 to 85, 90. And a 2 BHK would cost you around 100 to 120k. We pay 120k and we have a crazy view. You should check out our other videos where we've shown you the view from our apartment. In JLT, the rents are very similar to Business Bay. So you'll have your studio for 60, you'll have a 1 BHK for 75, 80 and 85, and you'll have your 2 BHK for 120. Now, what all additional costs are there when it comes to renting an apartment in Dubai? The first one you would ask would be brokerage fee, which is an agent fee. Typically, you cannot get around it. There is a 5% brokerage fee on all apartment rents, which means if you're renting an apartment which is 60,000 a year, you will be paying 3,000 as a brokerage. You will be paying a 5% as deposit as well, which is another 3,000. And you will have some smaller costs. Ijari, which is the contract here, the residential contract, would be around 200 dirham. And some brokerage firms might take another 200 dirham additional on top of it. So just as an example, if you're getting a 60,000 flat, you should have this much amount ready in the first go. First would be the quarter, because you're paying 4 checks, right? First would be the quarter's rent, which is around 15k. Then would be 5% brokerage and 5% deposit, would be 10% of 60,000, 6,000 dirhams. That makes it around 21 to 22,000 dirhams you should have ready while you're renting an apartment itself. Now there is something called DEWA, which is the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority. DEWA has a 5% rule where if you're spending say 60,000 on rent, that means 5,000 per month, 5% of that, which is 250 dirhams, that is the minimum DEWA bill that you will pay. This is for your electricity and water. Whatever you consume would be over and above that. We stay in a 2 BHK for 120k, which is 10,000 per month. So 500 is our minimum bill. typically we get about 1200 to 1400 as the overall bill per month. Now this brings us to something called chiller. What is the chiller concept? Now, since it's hot in Dubai, you know that all buildings have a centralized AC unit. Now in some areas that centralized AC unit is free. We found that in Bar Dubai, in majority of the areas, the chiller is free. In Business Bay and JLT, that is not the case. So you'll get a slightly lesser electricity bill, around 20% lesser electricity bill, especially during summers, if you have a chiller free. So you can ask your agent if the chiller is free. Typically, they will write that as well. By the way, if you want to know how life inside an apartment in Burj Khalifa is, do subscribe to this channel. If we have about 1 million of you, we might be able to afford it. Moving on. How to actually look for an apartment in Dubai. I would not suggest looking for an apartment 1 month before you actually need to shift in. Do it about 1 to 2 weeks before. Why I'm saying that is because flats and apartments come on rent very frequently and they go off as well. And it is that easy to find as well. Now, where to look for the apartments? We go to this website called Bayouth, and you get the agent details, you get the flat photos, apartment photos and everything, and you can directly call them and say, hey, can we see the apartment? And then you can go forward with that. We do have a very secret trick as well. We use that to get our first apartment in Bar Dubai. We went through an agent, he showed us very crappy flats, and we were like, hey, the other buildings around this area look very good. Let's just ditch the agent and just go to each building. We went to 4-5 buildings, asked them, hey, is there an apartment available for rent? And we got one where we could directly call the broker, hey, we heard that there's an apartment that is empty, can we see it? Saw it, and we closed everything. So I would suggest doing that, going to the areas that you have shortlisted and see the buildings that you like and just ask the guard there, hey, is there any flat available for rent? And you will get that. Hope this video helped answer all your questions. Do leave us your doubts or any questions that you have in the comments. Ciao.